Let's try, the biggest thing it's having trouble with is an open neutral. Okay, and I just set off my main GFCI breaker. Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. For those of you that are new, my name is Luke, and today is a very special day because today we're going to go over all the different test settings of your Klein Tools ET270. So be sure to ask questions down in the comment section. If there's something about this meter that I didn't cover, I will do my best to get back to you and get you the appropriate answer as soon as I can. So with that being said, why don't you grab a snack, have a seat, and let's get into it. All right, the Klein Tools ET270, things that I like. I really like this feature of this cord. You can't make current measurements with this. This is only for testing voltage. And then something I'm not a big fan of is that it takes AAA batteries. So it will eat through batteries relatively quickly. I'll put a link down below for some rechargeable lithium ion ones. And then it has a kickstand. I will not be using the kickstand just because it makes it hard to see what I'm doing. So I've got my little camera color code kickstand I'll be using. So we're just gonna go through the right-hand side of the dial, and then we'll go through the left-hand side of the dial. We're gonna start with volts AC. This little squiggly line here represents a sine wave for AC voltage. So anytime you see this little squiggly line, that's what they're trying to say. I wish they had, like on some of the other Klein meters, the ports would light up for where you're supposed to plug it in. Your leads will only go into 2 ports and they're color coded. Your red lead will go into the red port and your COM lead will go into the black port. So let's just go over how to take an AC voltage measurement if you're not going to be using this, which you would use for, if you're going to be checking any outlets, but obviously not every AC power source that you're going to run into is in the shape of an outlet. So what if you were going to check, let's say, the AC at your panel? We can just pretend this is a little AC panel that we have here, and you're going to have different buses. You're going to have like a neutral and ground bus, and then you'll have your hot bus. And you might be wondering, okay, do I need to put the red to a certain one or the black to a certain one? Polarity when making AC measurements is not gonna matter. So I can put my red to the hot, and I can put my black lead to the neutral, and I'll see 120 volts on my meter. But I can also do my black lead to the hot and my red lead to the neutral. And you can see it's the same exact measurement, no change. I can even put my red lead on the ground. What happens if I measure between my neutral and my ground? Look at that, I have 0 volts, 0.1 volt, because there's very, very little difference in potential between your neutral and your ground. Next up, we have DC measurements. Now we do have a battery test section, but notice it's only for 9 and 1.5 volt batteries. It's not going to be for like testing your car battery. Let's just go over how to measure a bigger battery. This is like a 12 volt nominal, 12.8 nominal. When measuring batteries, it is going to be important to put our red lead to the positive and our black or common lead to the negative. And you can see I have 13.2 volts, 24 volts. What happens if I accidentally take that measurement backwards? I'll put my black lead to the positive and my red lead to the negative. You can see that all we get is this negative sign, and that's the meter's way of telling us, hey, the flow of electricity is reverse from what I'm anticipating. Try putting your leads the other way. And now we'll get our voltage. Next up is continuity. A lot of you will probably use the continuity to run a very, very basic test for different things around the house. We'll kind of show you what that looks like here. If you're looking up how to test something online, usually the first thing that they say is check the device for continuity. What does that mean and what does that kind of look like? Well, on your continuity setting, the continuity setting is just saying that there's a low amount of resistance in a circuit and electricity is able to flow. It doesn't mean that that device is good. It doesn't mean that everything in that device is good. It just means that flow can take place. And I know that's kind of a nuanced answer that, isn't the most straightforward. Unfortunately, with electricity, almost nothing is very straightforward. But if I were going to just take a simple continuity test of a light bulb, what would that look like? You're going to see that we'll get a resistive measurement on our meter, and it will emit a tone letting us know that there's a low amount of resistance within our circuit. You might be wondering, okay, do I need to put the black lead to like the black wire and then the red lead to the red wire? No, you can do it either way. There's no polarity here. All we're checking for is that there's some type of flow. Another great use case for continuity, this is just a really basic example, is you might have encountered in the past or in the future that when you're checking wires, they're usually hidden behind a dash or a wall, and we usually only have access to the ends of our wires. So continuity can also be really great for figuring out which wire goes where on the other side. So you can see that this wire goes there, but it doesn't go to there. And then this wire goes there, but it doesn't go to there. Are these tied together? Okay, they're not. Are these tied together? They're not. Okay, so I just gained a lot of information about this circuit without being able to see color codes or wires or be able to visually map them out. So that's what that can also be really great for. And then next up, we just have resistance. Resistance is, just like in our continuity, we're looking for a resistive value, but now we can get a really accurate picture of the resistance of a circuit, and we can also make really large resistive value measurements. Say I'm trying to troubleshoot a little motor or something, and I'm looking up how to troubleshoot it, and they either say take a continuity test or check the resistance value of the motor. I can put it on the resistance setting, and I can just take a measurement. And on the meter, it's going to say 0.6 ohms of resistance, and I can press hold. I can hold that value. I can take my leads off, and now I have the information that I need for this motor. Does it mean that the motor's good or that it's going to operate? No, not necessarily, but it gives you a lot of information. Really, the information that it's giving you is that there's flow all the way from one wire all the way internally here out to the other side. And that's one check that we can do to see what's kind of going on with a component. We can also use it to check resistor values. I have a bunch of little resistors just lined up here that we can check the values of, and hit the hold button, and that'll clear that out. But we can go ahead and take some resistive measurements here. Something to look out for. You're going to notice this little horseshoe down here. Right now it says 68.4 ohms. Really straightforward. On this one, we have a decimal value, but then we have a K down here, if you can see that. So that K stands for kilo, or think of thousands. So we want to take this value, because there's a K there, we'll times it by 1,000, and then that's our true value. So really what the value of this is not 0.986 ohms, but 986. Okay, this time we have an M, as in Mike, and it's a capital M. Sometimes when you're working with meters, you'll run across a lowercase m, and that's for milli, but we have a capital M, and that's for mega, and when we think of mega, we want to think of millions. So I have 1.04 m ohms. What the meter is trying to tell me is this is really 1,041,000 ohms of resistance. So we want to pay attention to that M and that K. It can creep up, and if we miss it, then we're going to get really confused. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the main feature of this meter, and that is the outlet setting, which is really exciting. It says plug. That's a reminder to put your plug into these ports down here. Make sure it's fully seated. And we have a little bit of information here. It says open hot. Okay, so if we look at our owner's manual, there's different faults that can be set depending on the condition of the outlet, which I really like, because Essentially what they've done is they've taken like a dedicated outlet tester and built it into your meter, which is really nice. And the other advantage of it is it has a GFCI tester built into the meter, which is also super cool. So let's go into the process of measuring an outlet. Okay, so we've got 120 volts. It says correct, and then we've got a green light. I'm assuming that the green light is telling us that it's grounded. But let's see what kind of fault we have or what the meter displays if we don't have a ground. If we have an open ground, it's going to display open, ground, and we'll get a red indicator. Try another fault. Let's reattach our ground and let's do an open neutral and see what that looks like. Okay, this time we have an open neutral. It's showing there's some type of voltage there, but we have a red light and it's saying reversed hot and ground, which is really interesting because it is an open neutral. Okay, there is an open neutral fault, so we should be seeing open neutral on the meter. I'm wondering if, because I keep forgetting that the outlet is also a variable in this test, and we can see that our outlet is not happy with what it's being fed right now. Let's try not a smart outlet, let's try a dumb outlet. But before we do that, let's take a look at the GFCI testing. I always think this stuff is fun. You can see that engages the GFCI protection, and it tells us the amount of seconds it took to engage it, which is really cool. Okay, let's try a different outlet. Okay, let's try testing again. This outlet has no internal protection built into it. Okay, so we see everything's correct. Now let's go through, let's drop out the ground, let's drop out the neutral, let's drop out the hot. Let's see how the meter responds to it. Okay, open ground, red indicator. We know that fault's correct. Okay, this time, open neutral. Let's turn everything on. Okay, again, it's saying reversed hot and ground and not open neutral. We can see there's a hot and there's a ground. Let's try to not make any assumptions. Let's just bring in another meter. If we're missing a neutral, but we have a hot, this is what I would expect. But between my hot and my ground, I still have 120 volts. I don't know why it's throwing the fault reversed hot and ground, because this is where I don't want you all to be confused if you're testing using this. If it's missing a neutral and it has the capability to say an open neutral, which is the fault that we have, let's try one more time. Let's remove the ground from the equation, and this time it's on a not smart outlet. It says open hot, but I know that I have a hot. I know that there's 120. I mean, there's nothing for it to measure it against, and that's why it thinks there's an open hot. But then does that mean that the open neutral isn't going to work? I don't know how else to verify that the open neutral is working. In theory, it should be saying dual open, neutral, and ground, because, I mean, this is live, this is hot. To prove that this has an active hot in this outlet, I have my red lead in the hot. And if I go to ground, there's 120 volts present here. It's not open hot, it's dual open. I don't know if there's something about my setup in particular that's confusing the meter. That's disappointing. Let's actually create an open hot and see if it says the same thing. Okay, now it is an open hot and it says open hot. Man, that would be really confusing for, I think, anyone relying on this to check outlets. Can we check it on, let's check these faults against another outlet tester. See what this says. They both say correct. I don't know how well these LEDs are lighting up on the video. Let's go through. Let's try. The biggest thing it's having trouble with is an open neutral. Okay, and I just set off my main GFCI breaker for the basement. It's doing its job. Let me reset the breaker. I'll be right back. I have a GFCI, AFCI, dual function breaker for the lab and for the basement. It doesn't look like I'm adequately equipped to determine how to make it think that there's an open neutral. So yeah, I mean, that's definitely the coolest part of this tool. The only other thing, I guess we could try one other thing. Okay, I didn't have it fully inserted. If I have it fully inserted, it says hot, ground, reverse. If my hot and my ground were truly reversed, then I would show 120 volts difference in potential between my ground and my neutral, which I don't. So I know that that can't be true, because if my ground and my hot were reversed, my ground would have 120 volts on it. So I don't know. It's wrong. That's all I can say. I think at that point, if you are struggling, I would use the voltage, portion of this meter. Try to figure out how to do this with the tools at hand. Okay, so if you're doing your little plug thing and it's coming back with errors, what would you do? Because obviously it's not just as straightforward as we would like it to be. Right now, my outlet is missing a neutral. What would those test results look like? Putting my probes into hot and to neutral, I'm getting 0 volts. But if I move a lead over to my ground, I have 120. So I think maybe the lesson here could be, you either could have a reversed hot and ground, or more likely you're missing a neutral. I hope that helps. Let's go into battery testing. All right, we've got a 9 volt and a 1.5 volt. And if you're not sure like what kind of battery testing this is, it's supposed to replace something like this that you would have, maybe laying around somewhere, or maybe you had one growing up. But this is like, this just puts a little bit of a load on the battery and it tells you if it's good or not. This style I actually like a lot more, because this is not going to tell you good or bad. At least they normally don't. Some of them do. Let's see what this one tells us. I think this one's just going to tell us voltage. So a meter like this, it's just going to put a little tiny load on a battery and basically do a voltage drop test for you. Whether or not you're going to know if it's good or bad is going to depend on the amount of voltage drop, and then you're just going to have to compare it to a chart online. Red to positive, black to negative. Again, just going to do voltage drop, not going to tell you good or bad necessarily. Kind of a letdown about the outlet feature of this. It's not bulletproof, but if these were saying the same thing, hot, ground, reverse, so I don't know how it comes up with that. I think it's going to take some more digging. But anyways, that's how to use your ET270, and I'll catch you on the next one.